Well, if you're a fan of Blake 7 and you'd like a lasting memento of the series, what about your own teleport bracelet, like the ones worn by the crew of the Scorpio? They're made of titanium and argentium, and as well as being two-way transmitters with internal aerials, they also incorporate sensors so that the crew can tell if there's any poisonous gas or radiation about. Well, this replica's been dreamed up by Margaret Parnell, and you can't buy anything like it in the shops. And best of all, it doesn't cost more than about 40 pence to make. So if you'd like to be like Avon, Villa, Dana, Tarrant and Sulin and have your very own Blake 7 bracelet, I'll show you what to do. The wristband of the bracelet is made of this stiff ribbon, which is the sort used for backing belts. And you need a piece that's long enough so that when it's around your wrist loosely, the ends overlap like so. And then to join up the ends, you can use that self-sticking material, like this, makes a good noise, or press studs to fasten the ends as well. Now, the rather unusual shape on the top of the bracelet is a bit difficult to copy, so it's best to use a pattern. And to do this, you need some stiff card and an old margarine tub. This is the 250-gram size. Draw a circle around the margarine tub, very carefully, like that, and then a circle in the middle round one of these old cottage cheese or yogurt pots, anything of that sort of size. Make sure it's in the middle before you draw around it to make your pattern. And once you've drawn around it, cut out the inner and the outer edges of the circle until you're left with this shape here. Now, fold the circle that you've got in half, and then in half again. And now for the clever bit. To get that strange shape, square off the top edges of the circle along the curved bit. And when you open it out once, like so, that's your pattern. Now you need a couple of these for the top and bottom edges of the bracelet. So using some stiff card like this, which comes from an old soap powder packet, draw around the pattern that you've got twice. And of course, if you use the card doubled up and stuck together very firmly, you'll have a bracelet that's twice as strong. And once you've got a couple of these shapes, draw them round like so. Once you've got a couple of them, cut them out until you're left with those. Now they go one above the other on the finished bracelet like this, and the space in the middle is filled with paper rolls. Now these rolls are made of strips of paper the same length and width as the wristband of your bracelet, so you've already got a pattern, and if you use a ruler to draw the edges, you can get them nice and straight. Now you need 10 of these, and to make the roll itself, use a felt tip pen or a pencil, and the paper that I'm using is writing paper, which is a nice sort to use. Roll it up nice and tight, keeping it tight as you go, and a spot of glue on the end when you reach it, like that. Keeping it tightly rolled, slide the pencil or the felt tip pen away, and that's the first of your rolls. Now, using the base of the bracelet and working from the outer edge, put plenty of glue onto the bracelet and stick the first roll in position. Now the roll that goes alongside it is obviously going to need plenty of glue on the bottom and also along its length where it's being stuck excuse me, to the roll next door. So push that into position, and once you've got 5 working along from one edge, start at the other edge, put another 5 into position so that you're left with that shape with a gap in the middle. And then you can put the top of the bracelet with lots of glue into position like that. Now once that's dry and you've got that shape, you're ready to add the central panel with all the controls on it. Using some more stiff card, the same width as the bracelet and about 6 centimetres long, bend it just slightly at the outer edges so that it fits over the curved shape of the bracelet and stick that in position. Now the control panel itself has got an oblong cut away at one side and backed with that kind of crinkly plastic that you get on cake packet linings or biscuit packets. And the other side, these small holes are a bit fiddly to actually cut out individually, so it's probably best to use one of those punches like a file punch, or you could use felt tip pen and draw one red circle, one green circle and one black circle once the bracelet itself is painted, or you could use strips of coloured paper instead. Stick that into position, and you're ready to add the wristband on the back. Now again, you need a lot of glue on those rolls of paper because they're rather an odd shape, and then stick the wristband into position with the fastening at one end until you're left with that when it's all dried. And then you're ready to add the final decoration, which is these studs along the top and the bottom of the bracelet. And I wonder if you can guess what they're made from. It's very ingenious. They're actually dome-shaped buttons, like so, with the shanks cut away at the back. This is rather a fiddly and a tricky job to do, so it's probably best to get a grown-up to help you. And if you haven't got buttons that shape, you could always use bits of foil moulded to suit. Now you need 12 of these, 3 along each side on the top and bottom of the bracelet, like this. Again, I'm using double-sided tape for speed, but you're probably better off using stiffer glue along each edge. And once those are in position, along the top and bottom of the bracelet, you can paint it silver, like the bracelet itself and like the one I'm wearing. 2 coats of silver paint give a nice shiny finish, so wait till the first coat of paint is dry before you go on to the second. And when you see this bracelet next to the photo of the real thing, I think you'll agree that it's an amazingly good replica.